Welcome everyone to another Supplier Spotlight. I'm psyched today to have the team from C&J Financial with us. And I am not going to try to introduce everybody, so I'm just going to go round robin and Michael, give us a quick introduction.
Hi, I'm Michael Mostovsky. I've been in the insurance funding business and the funeral business for the last 10 years with Beta Capital originally, now with C&J Financial and Beta Capital and all of our other wonderful brands. I come from the investment world and finance. Good to meet you all.
Excellent. All right, James, you're up.
James Brochu here, been with C&J a little over a year. Before that, I was on the sales side. I sold pre-need for SCI for some years. And before that, I was in sales for Miller Coors. I was one of the reps out here in St. Louis, Missouri. Nice. So other than that, I've been with C&J for about a year and loving it.
Awesome. Okay, welcome. Rob, you are up.
My name is Rob Bryce. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships with C&J Financial. Been with the company since 2013 and enjoying every minute of it. I started my funeral profession career back in the early 1990s. Went to the Dallas Institute of Mortuary Science. Was a funeral director and embalmer in Texas, Missouri, and really enjoyed that time. I transitioned into sales with Wilbert Vault, so I've been able to be on the funeral director side of things and several ways to work with funeral directors. And so it's given me a lot of experience over the years, and I've really enjoyed it. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Rob, I had no idea that we had the Wilbert connection together. I was doing vault sales for a while too. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I was in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas at the time.
Okay. Excellent. That's how I got into the profession, was my father-in-law's Wilbert franchise. I thought I was going to sell bank vaults, and it ended up being burial vaults, completely different things. All right. So I got a few questions for each of you. So we're just going to kind of go round robin style here. And Rob, you're up first. Many funeral professionals are concerned about the fees associated with using C&J Financial for insurance assignment funding. Can you explain why the fees are not a big deal to the family, but they do cause some hesitation for funeral directors?
Well, I hear a lot of reasons why funeral directors are hesitant, and really what it comes down to is you got to step back and not necessarily overcomplicate what's going on here. So an assignment is a form of payment, but it's also a short-term loan that the funeral home's giving the family. In addition to that, different from other forms of payment, it requires hours of staff time processing the claim, following up, and then collecting payment at the end. So it is very different than other forms of payment and requires not only cost of staff, but cost of funds. So C&J Financial can step in and handle that process for you. And not only that, get you paid within 24 hours of verification. So again, we don't want to overcomplicate things. And really what it really boils down to is that insurance policy is purchased to relieve the burden and cover the cost of the funeral. It's the final act of love that someone can give their loved ones. And so when we look at it in that sense, the insurance policy allows the family to bridge the gap between what they want and what they can afford, which is oftentimes two very different things. And so that has a dramatic effect on how much satisfaction they have on the services they received.
Excellent. Excellent. It just kind of makes sense. You're saving the family or the funeral home a ton of time in that process. All right, Michael, this one is for you. What are the risks to funeral homes for not accepting life insurance as a form of payment for goods and services?
So the first obvious risk is, odds are your competitor down the street or in the next town is accepting insurance as a form of payment, and you don't want to be the funeral home that has more restrictive payment policies. But let's go a little bit deeper. A lot of times a funeral director might think that they understand or they know the finances of the family they're dealing with, and sometimes they do. It could be that they knew what their finances were like, or assumed based on one family member the finances of another. And it could just be they are generally liquid, but today they're not. By offering all the different forms of payment, you give them the option to use the one that's most comfortable for them. You empower the family. By mentioning it up front, you empower the family to understand from the very beginning what their payment options are, what they can afford, and this way they can move forward with more confidence and without worry. Remember, life insurance is a gift that the deceased left for the family. The family's using it for this purpose. An assignment is just part of it.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely. All right, James, this is a good one, and something that isn't talked a lot about, but will C&J fund a pre-need during an at-need arrangement?
Yes, absolutely, we could do that. What we would do if the beneficiary decides that he or she would like to set up their final arrangements at the time of the at-need, we could fund both pre-need and at-need policy on the same insurance assignment that you're sending over to us. So, for example, if the insurance assignment that you were sending to us is $25,000, and say the funeral cost is $10,000. Say the wife or husband wants to set up the same exact arrangements, just get it all over and done with right there. We can put both of those together and take off the fee just off what we are funding altogether. So if it's 10-10, we are taking the fee off just the 20,000, and then the other 5,000 will go straight to the beneficiary.
Excellent. That's pretty simple. All right. So, Rob, back to you. When a funeral home chooses to use C&J for their insurance assignments, does the family receive the insurance funds any faster?
Well, that depends. Most of the time, the funeral home is they're just taking the assignment on whatever the funeral costs are. And so in that instance, the money would come directly from the insurance company to the beneficiary. It would not pass through us, and it would not be subject to any additional fees. So they're not going to get the money as fast. They're not going to get it any faster, maybe just a hair, because we have staff constantly pushing for that insurance company to pay out. But if funeral home really wants to be a hero, we do offer what's called beneficiary rapid cash. And that allows the family to have access to some of that death benefit. And we can overnight a check to the funeral home, and the funeral home can then give it to the family. And that can be used for a variety of purposes outside of the funeral costs themselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I imagine that's probably a huge benefit to the families, especially during times like this. All right, Michael, from your perspective, why is it a mistake for funeral homes to process their insurance assignment claims internally?
Okay, so a lot of times me, Rob, James, we encounter funeral homes, funeral directors, and we're talking about this, and they're responsibly, yes, we take insurance, we process it internally, we don't have a problem. And, and I guess they don't perceive they have a problem, so in their mind, they may not have one. But the truth is that there are significant issues in taking your own insurance assignment. Number one is cash flow. You have to wait to get paid. Under the best of circumstances, you're not going to get paid for that service for several weeks and could be several months. It also takes a substantial amount of your office time up, and the back and forth, especially today with insurance companies being remote, that can be an even more substantial amount of time. There's also the risk. We're non-recourse to our funeral homes working with C&J. If we fund you, you're funded. If the insurance company encounters an issue later, we're not coming back to you to get paid. If you do it yourself and you find out later that the insurance somehow went bad after you were assured it was good, well, now you're a debt collector and you're dealing with the family that was very happy. Now you're asking them for money they thought they wouldn't have to pay. But let's dig a little bit deeper quickly. There's also the fact that by you having all of these issues, you're subconsciously probably not looking for them to use insurance. It's much easier to take a check or a credit card, although families want to use insurance. Through a substantial survey that we did, we found that families spend significantly more, which tells us they want to do more. But the funeral director, even if he offers insurance, is offering it as a fallback, not as the form of payment they're excited to take. You work with us, we take that out of your hands, we get you paid quickly, we make it easy to take insurance, you're satisfied, the family's satisfied, everyone wins.
Love it. Save time, less risk. Excellent. All right, James, back on the pre-need conversation real quickly. So in an arrangement, what's the best approach for a funeral director to kind of breach that notion of using of funding the pre-need of the survivor using C&J Financial?
So it can be tricky. Some would say in most cases this isn't the right time to ask that question, but this could actually be the right case. As Rob said, we have to remind the family that this is a gift from their loved
Yeah.
one, this insurance policy. A way that I approached it when I was selling pre-need with SCI is fill out the family. After everything's said and done, after your arrangements are done, simply ask the family, is this up to par? Is this everything that you thought it was going to be? When the family 99% of the time says yes, go into the pre-need side. Ask, well, I can make everything so much easier today. I know that coming back to the place that you last saw your loved one put to rest can be difficult. What if I was to set up your final arrangements today, same as your husband or wife, and there's no money out of pocket? It's strictly out of the insurance policy that your loved one left you. You don't have to take any credit card payment today, nothing. It just comes directly out of the policy and we'll pay for it today. Does that sound good to you? And majority of the time, the families love it. And we have to think of that also as on the business standpoint as an upsell as well, because, not only is the family happy, but now the funeral home is bringing in more cash as well.
That makes sense. So if the survivor chooses to take advantage of that C&J pre-need option, are two separate contracts required then in that case?
Yeah, so the funeral home would draw out two separate contracts. They would draw out a pre-need contract and they would draw out the at-need contract, and everything, but it would all still be funded on that one insurance policy with
Okay.
one fee. So we're still taking that one fee, as I said earlier, off the entire amount due that day.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I mean, right now the elephant in the room is obviously the pandemic that we're all kind of in the midst of here, and no one's really exempt from it. So how is C&J functioning during this crisis, Rob?
We were really fortunate. We had several years ago set ourselves up to be able to transition to a remote environment. And it was because of bad weather. In Alabama, a little bit of snow can shut the whole place down. So we were kind of proactive after a bad storm 3 years ago, and we're able to get this technology in place. So we early on in this process kind of moved in phases. So we moved in small phases out of the office into a remote operation so that we didn't disrupt our service to our clients. And so it really was a seamless transaction. And over this time frame, we've actually submitted more claims and been more efficient than when we've been in the office. So I have to give kudos to our staff back in Rainbow City. They've done a great job, and it couldn't have been a smoother transition.
That's awesome. I remember talking with Jamie the week that everybody was going remote, and I was kind of venting of we were not prepared as a technology company to immediately go remote overnight. There were things that, servers and things we needed access to, and I'm like, man, I just can't imagine what you're going through. He was like, oh no, it's been fairly easy. We're going in shifts. We're already set up and ready to roll. So I mean, kudos to you. That is fantastic.
Yeah, over
All right.
100 employees working remote right now.
That's wild. And if you're more efficient, does that mean you're going to petition to not have to go back to an office environment? You're just going to stay remote?
I don't know. They just moved into a nice new building right before this happened. So
That's right. That's right. All right, Michael, one more for you. What sets C&J Financial apart from the competition?
First and foremost, our people, whether it's the people that Rob just mentioned in Rainbow City, now all working remote, or in Greenville, or those who always work remote, our IT department, across the board. I've never worked with a group that is committed to what they're doing as the people I work with. They are the last responders. They are part of the last responder team. They know what's going on behind what they're doing. They're not selling widgets. They're helping people at some of the most difficult times in their lives. And that's how everybody approaches this. So I have to say, beyond anything else, it's the people, all the way from the top to the bottom. Customer service is not just a slogan. Customer service is a lifestyle at C&J Financial across all of our brands. I work for Beta Capital. We did a great job with customer service, but when we became part of the C&J family of funding companies, we learned what customer service was really about. Again, from top to bottom. Capabilities. There's nobody in our industry that has the capabilities that we have. We are the leader in what we do, whether it's the state-of-the-art portal that we use or the paperwork requirements, which are going to be a lot easier than doing it yourself. I can promise you that, or other companies. Notary complications during COVID that we're working with. It's easy to use us. You're not obligated to use us. It's easy to use us. I guarantee you, if you try us, you're going to like us.
I love it. I love it. All right. So what you guys don't know is that Jamie has emailed me over some gotcha questions that I'm going to ask each one of you one of these gotcha questions. And this is going to be some fun. So I'm going to start with, who do I want to pick on first? Where are these questions? Gotcha questions. All right. Let's look here. Okay, Rob, I'm gonna pick on you first. Okay. Do your kids ever get jealous of your relationship with Chuck? And just to clarify, Chuck is not Chuck Gallagher. Chuck is your pet squirrel.
Well, let's put it like this. A lot of people have kids. How many people have a squirrel? So, I told them a long time ago, if they keep bringing animals home while Dad's on the road, that I'm going to love the animals more than I love them. And we've got 3 dogs, 3 cats, and a squirrel now. So they brought it up themselves.
I love it. And look, if you don't follow Rob, you need to follow Rob and get a glimpse of Chuck the squirrel, because this thing's got a personality. I watched the video the other night of where you told it to go to its cage, like down 2 flights of steps, and you've got this thing trained.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. Okay, James, you're up next. So I hear that you're a lover of baseball. You went to college on a baseball scholarship. That's awesome. And you've always been a Giants fan. So why do you love the Giants so much?
Well, whoever sent you that question, not telling the truth. Maybe you can see behind me. When you see those colors, you don't see orange and black. You see red. I can't stand the Giants.
Okay. All right. Not a Giants fan. And from your Facebook post the other day, it doesn't appear that you're a Houston Astros fan either.
You saw that. That's great. So actually, real quick, I buy a hat, a Major League Baseball hat, in every city I go to.
Okay.
I want to collect them all. And I was going through them the other day and found my Houston Astros one and decided to put it on the grill and burn it.
Did you burn the wire that was in it as well?
Everything burnt, the whole thing.
Okay.
Going off and all.
All right. I love it. Good stuff. Okay, Michael, save the best for last. I understand you have a background of being a singer. How about you give us a little love by singing something from your favorite song?
Well, it's been a while since I sang outside the shower, or that, not around my family where they leave the room or start throwing things at me. So I'm not sure. This might be a good way to close out, because everyone perhaps might leave this chat real soon if I start singing. But I'm going to go with something that's universally loved. How about that?
All right, let's hear it.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. No?
I love it. That was, man, angelic.
With
God
the
bless
flag in
America.
the background.
Yes, that's perfect. Great. That was a great choice. All right, gentlemen. Thank you for being on our Supplier Spotlight. Appreciate what you do day in and day out, the funeral homes that you're helping. And I got to be honest, like Michael, I haven't got to see you a lot on the road, and James, you either. But from the top down, you guys have an amazing team. I see Rob. We kind of run in the same circles, I think. So we've golfed together, we've fished together, we've laid in the sand together. So you guys have a great team and a great company. Appreciate what you do and the opportunity to just be associated with you.
We appreciate it.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.